What do Falcons do? We rise up. Welcome to RiseUpRXNs, show we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general, the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, the Golden Hard Doc, and a lifelong sports fan, coming back to you today. It's looking like the Falcons may have a solution at quarterback. We have once again emerged as the front runners for the Justin Fields sweepstakes. Chicago doesn't have a lot of room here. They don't have a leg to stand on because we know that they have the number 1 and the number 9 pick in the draft. And what that ultimately means is that we know they're going to be taking a quarterback, so they don't really have the leverage to demand a ton for Fields, who we know that they are trying to offload. Combine that with the fact that Fields has not had the most impressive first 3 years, and a lot of that I think has to do with the Bears training staff. It has to do with Eberflus as a coach. Why they're keeping Eberflus and trying to move on from Fields does not make sense to me. I think a lot of Bears Nation would agree that Eberflus is not a winning head coach and is part of the problem of the culture there. I can't remember who the name of the family that owns them. I just don't follow it that closely, but I do know that that family has a losing history as well. Has not really done well with general manager hires, has not done well with staff hires. They haven't had a 3,000 yard or more quarterback in the modern NFL era in decades, and it's not that hard to get a 3,000 yard passer. You're talking about 250 yards for 12. I think it's 12 or 13 out of 17 total games. It's not that difficult in an NFL that is incredibly pass friendly. Justin Fields is not necessarily the guy that's going to get that 3,000 yards anyway. He's more of a runner. He's a dual threat guy, so he's something that Atlanta has seen before with Michael Vick, though I think Michael Vick had more juice than he did. But it's also something that we've seen in that he gets hurt a lot because he does take unnecessary hits. He does run out of a clean pocket, although he hasn't had many of those in Chicago. He doesn't always progress through all of his reads, but still, he has a couple things going for him. One, he's young. He is only going to be 25 starting this coming season. I think he's only going to be owed like $6 million this year, and then if we trade for him and exercise his fifth-year option, that's about a $22 to $25 million option for the next year after. It gives us time to create a long-term deal for him. So something that we definitely could do there. And for a modern NFL quarterback with the salary cap rising, with your top quarterbacks being paid 45 to 50 million plus per year, that's a really solid deal for this team that is loaded in other positions. We have a good offensive line, at least for the run. They do have a little bit of work to do for the pass. We have a good offensive line. We have a tight end that we're going to have to re-sign if he ends up doing well this year. But, we have Kyle Pitts, who we probably should have taken Justin Fields over back in the same draft. You have Drake London, and we really do need another receiver, so we're a little depleted in that area. You have Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier at running back. And then on defense, we brought in a lot of guys last year like Onyemata, Caden Ellis. We got lucky in the draft with Clark Phillips III. We still have A.J. Terrell for right now. And then, you have the emergence of R.W. Katie, Zach Harrison, plus whatever we bring in free agency, because I do think we're going to be looking for a lot of veterans for whoever falls off the apple tree for some of these other teams that's going to be worthwhile. So, Justin Fields allows us to do a couple of things here. So, A, he's young. B, he is very coachable. C, he's from Atlanta and from that area, so it would be like a homecoming for him. And then the thing that I like most about Fields, and again, this is probably the thing I like absolutely most about him, is it allows us to not completely destroy our free agency and not destroy our draft. Because I'm thinking there's one of two ways that this could go to get him. Either we trade our second-round pick and one of the fourth-round picks that we have, or a day two of some kind of fourth or fifth-round pick to get him this year, or we look at doing maybe one of these third-round picks, probably the one that's actually belonging to the Falcons because that's higher up in the draft, and then a conditional third-round pick next year that could turn into a second if we re-sign him or if there's certain numbers, if he plays a certain percentage of snaps. Obviously, we've done a deal like that before with Calvin Ridley, and the New York Jets just did a deal like that for Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers. So it's not unheard of to do that. I think either of those would be a good option for the Bears. Let's be honest, the Bears are sitting in a very good position. They have number 1 and number 9 overall. They are going to get something for Justin Fields that's probably a day 2 pick plus a future or another pick, either day 2 or day 3, they're probably going to get something for him. So they're in a great position to rebuild. Not in a great position from a coaching and staff standpoint, but if they can get that sorted out within a year or two, I think they're in a good position to potentially start competing for the North. But Falcons could certainly benefit from Justin Fields. He would be my favorite trade option for sure. I still don't know how I feel about this. If we don't trade for him, I still think we need a veteran. It's going to be a bridge player, somebody that's going to be on the team for a couple of years. I don't know how I feel about Kirk Cousins. I like Russell Wilson if he's available to kind of come in, be our quarterback for a couple of years, and mentor a young guy that we take in the second or third round, and have that guy be the heir apparent once we're done with that contract on the veteran. I do like that option as well, and that allows us to keep all of our draft picks and to play around with free agency. But it does, having to sign a veteran will screw our free agency up just a little bit. We've already cut Jonnu Smith. There's other cuts that are coming. We're probably going to end up, if I had to guess, based on where the cap was going to be, cap was going to be, about $25 million with no change. Now, or $25 million free cap with no change. Now it's about $40 million. Now we're closer to $47 million with the loss of Jonnu Smith. I think we're going to be closer to the $60 million in free cap space when it's all said and done, to try and make something happen with veteran players. That does give us a little bit of wiggle room to play with the idea of a quarterback, though it would limit us on guys like Danielle Hunter or some of the other high prospect defensive talent that we probably still need. It would allow us to re-sign Calais Campbell if he wanted to come back. He's still playing at a high level as far as I'm concerned. And then, we're going to have some guys coming back from injury like Grady Jarrett, and it would also allow us to sign Nate Lamb into a better deal. But yeah, that's what I think about this. I do think Justin Fields makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to be upset if we get him. I am going to be very hopeful that he could be the answer for us. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's a lot of bad options in terms of getting a high-end veteran or trading for Fields. If we go that route, I think we're immediately the best team in the NFC South. You have the St. Louis. You have the New Orleans Saints, who are perennially in cap hell, and they're just kicking the can down the road. I think they're projected to have probably $70 million in over the cap this year. So at some point, the bill comes due. I know that they've been kicking that can down the road, but that bill is going to come due at some point, and they're going to end up with a massive dead cap situation that like the Falcons had. And after that, they can get back to rebuilding, but they would be better suited going ahead and doing that in the next year or two than continuing to kick that can down the road and be a mediocre team. Have the Carolina Panthers. They're a dumpster fire. I really thought they should have taken C.J. Stroud. Apparently, the coaching staff also thought they should have taken C.J. Stroud. Instead, they went with Bryce Young. No disrespect to Bryce Young. He was put in a bad situation, and I didn't think he was the best quarterback for them anyway. And then you also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are going to be cap restrained if they re-sign Mike Evans. And then you don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. They might get Baker, but they're going to have to pay him a ton of money. And they were kind of surprisingly good last year, but for a season and for a time, they were not the best team in the division, and the Falcons almost swept them. Had a chance to sweep them had we not played bad in the first half of the second game of the year last year. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I do think any veteran or Justin Fields makes the Falcons the favorite, and I don't say that just as a Falcons fan. I say that objectively looking at the balance of this roster and what it's lacking. And really, it's lacking a quarterback. It's lacking another wide receiver, and it's lacking a edge rusher or somebody that can really be the go-to impact guy. It's missing the Aiden Hutchinson. It's missing the, not the Troy Polamalu. I don't know. Nobody's coming to mind right now. It's missing the edge rusher. So if we can get that, maybe we take a corner or two to pair with the corners that we already have. I don't know. But I do know that Justin Fields allows us to continue to have flexibility in the draft and in free agency this year. That's all I got for you. We'll see if it happens. I do believe a deal will happen here in the very near future. I think it'll happen, honestly, before Justin Fields' birthday, which is March 5th. That would be early next week. We have the Combine this weekend. This is when a lot of NFL teams are going to get together, and they're going to have a chance. The Bears are going to have a chance to hear offers from other teams and see what is available, kind of get the final deals going. And again, this is not a move that needs to happen before March 13th at 4 p.m. This is a move that can happen immediately because he's not a free agent. It would be a traded player. This is something that can happen at any time, and I do look for it to happen within the next week, one way or another, whether he goes to the Falcons, whether he goes to Pittsburgh, whether he goes to, who knows, hell, Tampa. Let's just throw Tampa Bay in the mix right now. Who knows where he's going to go? New York Giants, of all teams. We'll see. But that's what I got for you. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you to the 200 plus of you who have already subscribed to the channel. It means the world to me. This is a passion project for me. I really just enjoy making the videos. I'm not looking to get money from this or anything. If it ever does become monetizable, great. But I just enjoy making videos and being there for Falcons Nation and kind of being a voice from a fan perspective. I feel like I'm a pretty moderate fan. I'm passionate about my team, but I am very realistic about the team, and I don't go making wild claims. I don't go making crazy things a lot. So if you like hearing a more grounded view of what the Falcons are going to do from a fan perspective, feel free to like and subscribe to my videos. It means the world to me. And as always, guys, rise up.